Hey YouTube, it's Erin, and I am the Handbag Housewife, and I'm back again with another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Malta. Here we have a dog snort again. I don't know what it is with my dogs coming in and snorting at the beginning of my videos. But here is my special guest. This is Maisie, and she does not want to be held right now. And then there's Chewy. You get to see both of my puppies. They both came to visit. Chewy's very jealous at the moment. Off you go, kids. My kids are actually away at camp right now, and so I have a little bit of free time on my hands. So I thought I'd talk to you about Malta. Malta was part of our Mediterranean cruise, and honestly, when I heard we were stopping there, I really wasn't all that excited about it. But let me tell you, it was one of the most beautiful places we visited. I was stunned at how much I loved it. And so I thought I would share a little bit of it with you, as well as the souvenir I picked up while I was there. So when we got there, we went into this extremely deep natural port, one of the deepest natural ports, if not the deepest in the Mediterranean. I think this is Malta that we are approaching. We're going to Valletta, Malta today. Probably totally butchering that name. But our ship is quickly approaching. This is from my balcony, but it had a wall around all of it pretty much. And it was basically fortified in that way. And so we parked and then we took a drive up to Medina, which is Medina, which is a medieval city, and it was founded by the knights. The knights were a form of nobility, and they talk about the knights all the time when you're there. And I'm not exactly sure who the knights were, but they came from all over the place. I do know that. And you could get, I guess, indoctrinated into the knights if they liked you and thought you were worthy. And I'll get to that here in just a minute. But when we were in Medina, I learned that this is known as the Silent City. And it's because there's very little automotive traffic, barely any at all. Like regular people aren't allowed to drive in there. I think the people who live there can a little bit, but for the most part, there's no automobiles on the streets. And you can kind of wander around, and there are tons of beautiful buildings from different eras, like from Baroque to medieval. And the reason being is there was a pretty major earthquake that destroyed a lot of it, and it had to be rebuilt. And right now, I think they said there's around 98 people who live in Medina. And the houses or the palaces that are there have been passed down throughout families over the course of time. And there was one huge palace that only had 2 people living there. And so it's pretty prestigious, I think, if you live there. And the population is dwindling because as these homes are passed down, I guess fewer and fewer people want to stick around. I don't know why. Something you see around Malta when you are there is crosses, absolutely everywhere. They have the Maltese Cross displayed prominently on everything from walls to floors to fabrics to boats to jewelry. It's everywhere. It has a lot of different meanings, religious meanings, as well as meanings in terms of characteristics of those knights. A more modern day meaning of it, the 8 different points mean things having to do with being a good first aider. And so I thought that was kind of cool. You know, you can look at it from a religious point of view because it's a cross, or you can look at it in terms of the 8 points really symbolize being a good person in a lot of ways. So in Medina, there is a convent for the nuns, and that's kind of silly, redundant, convent, nuns, they kind of go together, right? And so there is a lot of religious aspect to that town. While we were there, we went into this little shop. We had like 2 seconds to shop, and there were tons of Maltese crosses in this shop. And I was kind of looking, but I'd already spent a fair amount of change, and so I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And so I was kind of looking, and in the literal, I said 2 seconds, we maybe had 10 minutes, I found something. And it is the necklace I'm wearing right now. Now, I'm going to get up closer in just a second, but this necklace, it's like a flower background with a Maltese cross in the front. I saw this and I kind of felt like it was meant to be because I think it goes really well with the Constantina ring I picked up in Santorini, and I'm going to show you that now. So if you look here, there's like a flower background, and then there's the Maltese Cross. It is set in 18 karat gold, and the Maltese Cross is in white gold, while the flower is in yellow gold. And if you look at the ring, I got the Constantina ring. It is also a mixture of silver and 18 karat gold. So the silver really plays off of the center of this pendant. I got this pendant in 18 karat gold at this store, this religious store in Medina, and I think it was like $270 after the conversions and everything, which I think is a phenomenal deal, by far the best deal I got on the trip. It's handmade, so it's not perfect. And when I looked at it afterwards, I noticed that the cross was kind of off center, but you know what? It sparkles. I think it is beautiful, and I'm super excited to have it as a memory of the trip. After we were in Medina, we went to Valletta, and we went to St. John's Cathedral there, which was absolutely stunning. A gorgeous cathedral dedicated to the patron saint of St. John. And within that cathedral, there were 8 different rooms on the sides representing different countries. You see beautiful marble work. There are tons of tombs within the church, all on the floor. So you're basically walking over the graves of so many people when you're there. And there is a famous artist work there by Caravaggio. And so we got to see that and learn a little bit about Caravaggio, an artist that came from the Vatican. He was like disgraced there and ended up in Malta. And then he had a little run-in in Malta after he made his famous work, which we saw while we were there. And he was kicked out of Malta essentially as well. They had indoctrinated him into the Knights, and then they booted him. And he died a couple years after creating this famous artwork that we saw there. So that was St. John. We got to wander around a little bit in Valletta. I didn't find anything while I was shopping. Of course, I was shopping. I got to see a lot of cool architecture, which I will put in as I am talking here. And so I did definitely enjoy that. Wandering around these cities in Europe was quite an experience that I enjoyed tremendously. When we got on the bus and headed back to the pier, the port, we did take a boat ride. And the boat ride was the Three Cities boat ride. And so we got to tour around the harbor and see the three cities from the water point of view. The three cities of Malta are Victoriosa, Singlia, and Conspicua. So when we visited Medina and Valletta, those weren't part of the three cities, I don't think. It was really cool because all 3 of these cities are fortified, and that's why they're kind of separated out and called the 3 cities. And you can see the fortification from the water really well. We had a native Maltese boat driver who was, I believe, 17 or 18 years old, and he was really cute. And he talked to us about living in Malta and his family business, this boat driving business that it had been going on for generations. And he kind of gave us the local perspective of what it was like to live there and the layout of the cities to some extent. And so that was highly enjoyable. We then headed back, went and grabbed some food, which was a bit disappointing, I have to say. It was supposed to be kind of the local food, but our restaurant was lackluster, to say the least. And then that was the end of Malta. So I would highly recommend visiting there if you get a chance. It was something that was never on my radar, but it was so neat to visit, and I enjoyed it very, very much. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Do it and ring the notification bell so that you are notified of future exciting content such as this. Also, go find me on Instagram. The name there's the same, is the @symbol, then the Handbag Housewife, all lowercase. You can DM me there, or you can email me at thehandbaghousewife@gmail.com. If I don't hear from you, I will see you again real soon. Take care and have a fabulous day. Bye.